if it's PG-13 content, it's not really going to run in the magazine.
What are people saying you?
You don't want to know. You don't. It's like it's NSFW, not safe for work, not safe for the magazine.
Yeah, right. Oh my goodness. Elizabeth, thank you so much for meeting with us. We know you're busy, so we appreciate you carving out some time for us.
Of course.
Our goal here is we really want to turn the tables and interview you for once. I don't know how often you get to interview versus doing the interviewing. But what we want to do is just share some insights that you can share with us from a PR perspective. We as PR professionals always want to make sure we're elevating our game. We want to make sure other PR professionals are providing you with the information that you need to, actually get it published in the magazine. So we're looking forward to just very candid answers and any insight that you can provide to us. So why don't you tell us a little bit, you're with Luxe magazine, so why don't you tell us a little bit about Luxe?
Yeah, so Luxe Interiors and Design is a network of regional magazines covering design and architecture throughout the United States. We have 13 different regions across the country, and we're actually adding 2 new ones in 2019, which is exciting.
That is very exciting.
Yeah, so we'll have a Naples edition, which will go once a year in Jan-Feb, and then a Southeast region. So that will cover sort of all of the Southeast, which is obviously a very important market for design. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
And we have a national edition as well, which pulls from the feature well. We'll have homes from all around the country in that as well. And what I work on is the market department. So I'm the associate market editor here, which means I get to do all the shopping for our readers.
Hello, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I get to sort of survey the design scene and find all the luxury goods that we want to show to our readers and represent a bunch of different interior design styles and all that fun stuff.
So does that translate to you at home? Do you find like the latest? Are you a design snob?
I'm not. I can't really afford to be.
No, I know, all the
to
good
be
stuff,
perfectly
right.
honest, but I find that I've grown to appreciate a lot of different styles. So at times it's hard for me to choose what I want to put in my home because there's just so much to choose from, and there are so many things that I see out there that that I want. So it's a little hard in my own home. It's definitely a mixture of styles.
Especially when you appreciate good design.
Totally.
Like finding the right pieces.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, well, the first question, just from a PR perspective, you're talking about launching new titles in different regions, so I kind of know the answer. But is print, everybody's talking about how print is dying. It doesn't sound like it from Luxe's perspective, but can you talk a little bit about that?
It's alive and well. I mean, I have to believe that. I work for a print magazine, but I do really believe it, especially in the design and the home sector, because people want a physical magazine. They want to interact with the home products, with the designers and all of that. And I think that there's definitely a coffee table appeal to a lot of the design magazines. You want to keep it on your coffee table and be able to use it as a resource and look through it over and over again. And certainly at Luxe we're growing, which is exciting, and we're continuing to represent different types of regional design throughout the country. And we also have to view print as just one wing of our brand. We have our digital platforms as well. We have our events and all of those types of things. It's important to sort of see print as the foundation of our brand, but as just one piece of it.
Yeah. So that's really interesting. So, as a PR professional, there have been changes in the industry just because of technology and everything. So any insights there as something I should consider or a PR professional should consider when sending you information, knowing that you have different platforms?
Yeah, I mean, I think that print is no longer necessarily the place where we deliver timely news, because now we have these digital platforms where we can post on Insta stories at an event or an opening, or if there's some like crazy news that we want to share immediately, we have the ability to do that. So that's what we use our digital platforms for. And for print, we're still storytellers. We're still telling the stories behind brands and designers and helping up-and-comers sort of get their feet into the industry. And so, print is becoming a little bit more of a place where we're sort of creating a lasting legacy for these people and not necessarily, trying to be newsy, because the reality is, we're a bi-monthly magazine also, so we're 6 times a year. And so our platform, Luxe Daily Online, is much more of a newsy platform.
So there's room for both.
Yes.
Different formats.
Yes.
Great. So I love that you bring a fresh perspective, because you've been with Luxe for a couple of years, but you've interned. You've interned with veterans, if you will, in the industry.
Yes.
So from a fresh perspective, a younger perspective, if you will, how has the relationship changed between an editor and a PR professional, if it has?
Yeah, I definitely think so. Having worked under different editors-in-chief at different magazines, I've seen, editors are becoming a lot more accessible, I feel, to not only PR professionals, but also to, their greater audiences. We all have our Instagram profiles, and you can sort of get a little bit of a peek into our day-to-day lives, depending on how much we share. But I think, also with digital platforms, people are definitely relying on email a little bit more than they used to. It used to be more of a phone call type of thing. I want to tell you about this, and then can we set up a meeting, and I'll show you the materials. Whereas now, a lot of our communication is done over email, and that's for better or for worse, because a lot of times it's great to sit face to face and get to know somebody and be able to share what you're working on face to face. So it's definitely changed a little bit because of that.
So let's talk a little bit about the best way to reach you. So is it through email? Is it a phone call? What's the best way to send you information?
Yeah, I think to start with email is important. And, I get a lot of e-introductions, let me e-meet you, and then maybe later on we'll meet in person someday. So I think quick to the point emails that deliver, the new information first are really important. We all as editors want to be showing the new products, the new designs on the market. So that information should always come first, and then and then maybe an explanation about the history of a brand or something like that. So I definitely think starting with email is great. Always including images in email, just to catch our eyes. Just a press release is not always the most compelling thing to get in our inboxes. And then if you don't hear from me, by all means, follow up via phone or via email, that type of thing. But I think, we do rely on email for better or for worse. But I do always love to start building relationships with people in person when I can.
So on the email front, what about attachments? Yes, good, bad?
Yeah, I'm fine with an attachment. A good Dropbox link is all right. One of my pet peeves actually is when people send like a Dropbox that has 1,000 folders in it. Keep it simple. Deliver what you think are the highlights, and if I need more film, I'll ask for it. But I think attachments are all good.
I love that you just said film. You have an old soul.
I do. I totally do.
I love it. That's awesome.
Do. I work in magazines. I have to have a certain sense of an old soul.
That's awesome. I love it. So what about video? So pitching like an idea or a new product or a project through video. How's that?
I think it's a storytelling tool that's very interesting. Although I don't want to get like a 45-minute video in my inbox. So, if it's a really quick one that you can embed into an email, I don't see any problem with that.
Sounds good. Awesome. Let's see. So talking about following up with you, so how often should somebody follow up with you? We know you're busy, and we know we are not the center of your world. So how often, once we send you something, should we follow up with you?
I would say give it 48 hours maybe.
Okay.
Send a follow-up, want to make sure you see it. If it's something like super pertinent, like an event that's happening, the next day, maybe follow up. But I think, I try to keep my inbox as low as I can and stay on top of things, but we're all human and we're all getting a lot. just think about if you were on the other side of the emails and how much you would like to hear from someone.
Yes. Yeah, not stalking. You know, that gray area.
There's a gray area between stalking and following up.
Right. Love it. So what about timing? Let's talk a little bit about that. So you said an event. If it's an event or, you know, what issue you're working on, what's your time frame? So if you're working on an issue for spring, when should we reach out to you?
Right now, in November.
While it's raining outside?
While it's raining outside and it's getting chilly, we're working on the spring.
Okay.
So the way we work, we have 6 issues. So we're in the middle of closing our Jan-Feb issue. In November, that'll close in a few weeks, and then we'll be straight on into spring.
Okay.
So we're working pretty far in advance for our print publications, and that is also a helpful tool for that is also our editorial calendar, which, you know, most magazines have them, and you can sort of go by that as a general guide for when, you know, we're going to be working on whichever issue.
Okay. So can you share with us a really creative pitch that you've received that was just really memorable?
Yeah, definitely. Recently, a PR rep reached out to us, and she actually had a really creative idea that took 2 of her clients actually to work together and present something exclusively for Luxe.
Nice.
So not only was it smart on her part, you know, collaborating, having 2 of her brands collaborate together, but also, you know, we always want an exclusive. So she had a company come in and style a holiday spread in a property that she represents, an event venue.
Okay.
And then we did a photo shoot there and delivered unique content to our readers because, you know, never before had one brand come into the other space and done that. So, you know, I think we always want exclusive content. So if someone comes to us and says, we're coming to you only, we think this is a great fit for Luxe. And it's 2, you know, quality brands.
Yeah. I love that. Just complimentary.
Yeah.
Provide you with a bigger story, a bigger trend, whatever that might be.
Yeah, definitely.
What about from a project standpoint? So, you know, if there's an interior designer or an architect that wants their project featured in Luxe, 2 questions. So what's the immediate information that they need to send to you for even being considered?
Yeah, so since I'm on the market team, I deal mostly with our products, but our homes editors are always looking to feature the latest and greatest designs. And they want to start with who the designer is, where the home is, obviously, if there are any distinguishing details about the homeowner. You know, we're not super into celebrity homes at Luxe, but if there's an interesting hook, if it's an art curator or something, they have amazing art, that's a good thing to know. You know, when the project was completed, if we can conduct our own photo shoot there if we'd like, or if they have professional photography already, you know, and any scouting shots they can provide, that type of thing. And then for Luxe, we do run our homes exclusively in the magazine. So once we select the homes, we want to make sure that no one else is going to be running a home feature on it, and that it's off of the designer's website as well.
Okay. And then the spec shots are fine. And then do you typically send out a photographer to the site, or is it 50-50?
I would say about 50-50. You know, sometimes we work with a lot of really great photographers throughout the country, and sometimes architects and designers know that, and so they'll already sort of reach out to them before they even pitch it to us.
Oh, nice.
So if it's amazing photography and it sort of fits the aesthetic of the magazine, we'll just go right with that.
Yeah.
But we will sometimes send out our own photography teams.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Let's see. Okay, what's the worst or strangest pitch that you've ever received?
That's a good question. There are definitely some funny ones that come across our desks that sort of make us laugh and we'll send around. There are some kind of inappropriate ones, I would say, that make us a little uncomfortable. things that I would not even really want to say out loud.
I'm very curious. I kind of want to know. Maybe that's the unedited version of the video.
Yeah, I would say if it's, if it's PG-13 content, it's not really going to run in the magazine.
What are people saying you?
You don't want to know. You don't. It's like it's NSFW, not safe for work, not safe for the magazine.
Yeah, right. Oh my goodness. Okay. If you're not going to cover it in Luxe, they should not be sending it to you. That's the lesson, right?
No. Yeah.
There's not a secret section of the magazine that's
definitely not.
Oh my goodness. Okay, we'll talk about that offline because I'm very curious. What would you say? You already talked a little bit, but a pet peeve with PR professionals.
Yeah, I think if someone puts me on the spot, either on the phone or if I meet them in person and they are trying to get an answer from me about coverage or if I'm going to attend an event or something and I feel like I'm put on the spot, it's just sort of an uncomfortable position to be in because I'm part of a team and I need to talk to my colleagues and my team members before I make decisions about, what we include in the magazine or even sometimes on my calendar because we share our event schedules with each other and we want to make sure we have coverage where we need to but
divide and conquer.
Yeah, exactly, which is so important to us. So I think just being put on the spot is never a good feeling with anybody, but I think especially when it comes to what we're including in the magazine, I don't want to get in an uncomfortable position if I say something's going to run when it might not. But if I feel put on the spot, I'm not sure what I'll say.
Well, and that's the nature of the business. I mean, things get cut right before it goes to print.
The editorial process is long. There are a lot of people involved and. We don't want to give you any wrong information either.
Sure. So we know that you get a lot of pitches every single day. Tell us a little bit about the process. So how do you vet it? And then what is the process to actually get the pitch and then bring it to fruition in the magazine?
Yeah, I mean, it's a long process. I think when I first look at it, I want to make sure it's, visually appealing or it has a good story behind it. And then it fits the sort of Luxe aesthetic. And we are delivering, the best of the best in luxury design. So if it's sort of on par with the rest, that's sort of the first question I ask. And then, it has to make sense within the issue that I'm producing. If it's outdoor furniture, it's not necessarily going to work for our winter issues, but it sort of just depends if it's going to fit into a story that I'm working on. And if it's not, I'll keep it on file and keep it in mind and let you know that I'll keep it in mind for future issues. But that'll be sort of the first couple of steps. And then we have weekly meetings with our team, with our market team here, and we'll talk about it. We'll talk about what we're working on, see if there are trends that are emerging, and follow sort of the themes that our stories are working on. And then ultimately we will show them to our editor-in-chief, who, makes most of the decisions, the final decisions on what's going to run and what's not.
Okay. So how do you stay on top of, aside from what we're sending you, from a PR perspective, how do you stay up to date on what's trending and the newest in design and products?
Well, I attend a lot of trade shows. I attend a lot of previews, events, openings, those types of things. So I'm always running around. I'm like a girl about town. I think that's sort of what us market editors do on the day-to-day. And we all see each other at all the events. And we want to make sure we get the newest exclusive and things like that. So I do a lot of running around and then a lot of taking pictures. Thank God for the iPhone because I can snap pictures and sort of go through that later because I see so much. So to be able to jog my memory about what I saw at Maison Objet and that was at the booth. Where was that from again? Be able to jog my own memory. And then a lot of organization internally just on our server and on my own computer filing systems. I get a little nervous when my desktop is covered covered in those icons. I like to stay
Keep it clean.
as organized as I can, but sometimes it does get away from me a little bit.
Well, so let's talk about trade shows then. So do you have any insight as far as setting up meetings with you? Like, you know, I mean, you're running around from booth to booth. Any insights on how to get you to the client's booth, what you want to see when you get there?
Yeah, I think that, you know, when someone's presenting products at a trade show, I want to make sure it's new because I'm going to go and see a lot of clients at a trade show and a lot of different companies. So if you're asking me to come and see something that I've already seen in, you know, at a different show or at, you know, in a showroom, chances are I may, you know, just in the interest of trimming my schedule down, I may just do a drive-by and say hello and maybe not spend, you know, 15 minutes talking about something I've already seen. So, and I think, and usually companies use trade shows to introduce new things, so usually that's not too much of a problem, but yeah, I mean, I think being mindful that it's you know, hard to stay on schedule at shows like that when especially when they're huge, like you know, at Salone and Milan, it's like 25 Javits centers right next to each other. So, and people are usually very understanding of that. But
Did you go to the show in Milan?
I did.
Oh,
yes.
was that amazing?
It was amazing.
Jealous. Very jealous. That's every 2 years.
It's every year, but they do every 2 years. It's either, I think, Euro Cucina, and then I think the other one is lighting, but I'm not positive because I've only been once.
Oh,
so I saw Euro Cucina.
We're going to Euro Cucina.
Awesome.
Make a note. So just with trade shows, any pet peeves with regard to how PR professionals handle, because I mean, you have to know getting an editor to the booth is gold from a PR perspective, to just put this out there. So are there any pet peeves with how PR professionals approach you to get to a booth, or any insights there?
I mean, I think, again, just like if you've already shown me the product,
don't try to repackage or pretend
you know, we both know that you know, we've had a meeting about it before, so either say, you know, if you want to come see it again, present it in a new way, you know, or, you know, I know that you're already familiar with this, but maybe I can jog your memory, that type of thing. Just, you know, respect our time. We want to respect yours. You know, if it's a big showroom, you know, we'll do maybe the fast track tour, not stop and see every single thing in the showroom. But yeah, I think it's just sort of basic respect of each other's time.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's really good. Okay, so just to wrap up the professional part, one piece of advice that you would give to PR professionals.
That's a good one. It's tough. You know what? It's actually very simple. Is to do your research, read the magazine.
That's helpful.
We really appreciate that. You know, there's nothing better than when someone says, "Oh, I like that story that you did," and even if you didn't like it, you can, you know, white lie, tell me you liked what I worked on. But it's just so obvious in a pitch, in an email, in a meeting, if you know the content and if you know what I work on versus maybe what my colleague works on. Just because coming from that, you know, well-researched background is a good way to get, you know, a pitch covered and selected. But yeah, I think just do your research, read the magazine.
I think that's where there's always going to be the personal element to PR, you know, where everything's getting so automated with social. There's that personal element that there's always going to be there.
I think it's so obvious when you get a tailored pitch. You know, when it's not just a dear all and a link to a Dropbox of new swatches of fabric. You know, if it's here's a story that I think is really good for Luxe and here's why. And then, you know, and even if it doesn't land, if it's not something that I'm going to cover, I still will appreciate that you know, put some time into it and some thought and thought it would be good for the magazine, and maybe I'll keep it in mind for the next issue that I'm working on.
Okay. And how long do you hold on to things for future consideration? Is there a time frame for that, or?
I would have to check our servers,
Yeah.
but I think, I mean, I know that my emails delete themselves after a year.
Okay.
So
Yeah, so-
that's one thing, because I have like obsessive folders in my email inbox for all the different product categories and different trade shows and things like that. So I guess about a year.
Okay, there you go. Only because Outlook gets rid of them or whatever.
Mostly, yeah.
All right, so let's just get to know you a little better, because we can see your profile on LinkedIn and all that good stuff. But we want to get a little bit about you. So we're going to play this or that.
Okay.
Okay. So this is the lightning round.
All right.
Okay. So this or that: mountain or beach?
Beach.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Yes.
Always dogs.
Yes.
Not a cat person.
Not a cat person.
Sorry.
I know. You are either one or the other. You are. Bullet points or paragraphs?
Paragraphs.
Paragraphs. You're the first. Oh,
I'm
the
a-
soul.
I'm a writer.
Yes.
I'm a writer.
You are. I love it. Text or phone call?
Text.
Text. Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
A particular coffee brand?
Not necessarily, but iced coffee year round.
Oh, nice. Even when it's raining.
With
outside.
oat milk. Oat milk is my new obsession.
Well, there you go. Surf or turf?
Turf. I like a good steak.
Nice. Morning bird or night owl?
Night owl.
Night owl. What time do you usually go to bed?
Not that late. I'm just really not a morning person.
So if you had to choose one or the other, you still go to bed at 9.
No, maybe 10 or 11.
Okay.
I'm like a grandmother. I need 8 hours of sleep at
Okay,
least, or I
that's
guess
so funny.
that's more like a child.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, either one. Both ends of the spectrum.
I just know I'm not a
We all
morning person.
we all need our sleep. Let's see. Guilty pleasure. This is not a this or that, but what is do you have a guilty pleasure?
Probably reality TV.
Uh-oh. Which ones?
Oof. How long do you have?
Your top.
I watch The Real Housewives.
Too. Okay, I have a friend that does that. She
Not
goes, I
every
shut my brain
franchise.
down.
Not everyone. Actually, probably my favorite is Bachelor in Paradise, which is really just the worst of the worst.
See, at least you know it, though.
It's so bad.
At least you know it.
But
Sometimes
it's
you have to
so-
shut your brain off. though.
Other people's drama is
Yeah.
so interesting
Yeah.
to me. I don't want to be involved in
You make
it.
it more grateful for what you have, right? Yes, to see other
very
people's
much.
problems. Okay, last question. Very important. Whiskey, wine, or water?
Wine.
Yes.
Always.
Girl after my own
Cheers
heart.
to that.
Cheers. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes.